Okay, so this first stretch is for your ankles. So we're trying to create that dorsiflexion where we get the knee over the toe. Try and focus on putting weight on the knee and keeping the heel firmly pressed into the ground. You can do this by putting your hands on the knee, or if you want to add more pressure, you can go forearms down and put a lot of weight on it. But try and keep your heel down while you create that range. From here, we're looking to do our quad stretch. We're going to do this kneeling, and we're going to promote to keep the hips open. So that means up nice and upright with the knees close together. This is for the front of the legs. This stretch is called our hurdler stretch. So the sole of the foot is pressed to the inside of the leg, press the knee out to the front, and the extended leg, keep the knee down towards the ground. Bent knee tucked in nice and close to the body. Reach with two hands, so we're getting the upper back stretch here also. If we can't reach to the feet, just slide down the legs. This one is called your half straddle. It's extending that quad stretch up in towards your hips. And if you can tuck your foot in close to your backside, you'll get an ankle stretch there also. From here, we're looking at getting that extension by simply sitting down on the heels, pressing the full foot into the ground and trying to take away that gap within your ankle and the floor. So press it out and try and get your toes fully pointed. From here, we're looking at moving into our hamstring extension. So bring your foot up towards your hand, close to the body, and extend your front foot. Try and extend that fully, and you'll feel that stretch in the hamstring. As you can see, try and keep your foot close to your hand. From there, moving into our perfect stretch. You still stay in the same position, but we're moving down towards the hips and the upper back. Run your elbow down close to your ankle and rotate your upper body towards the ceiling. Keep your back knee, if you can, up off the floor. From here, we're moving into a glute stretch, so up around the hips. We're moving into the bum muscles. This is the pigeon stretch, so try and get your foot nice and high up towards the body. Back leg extended as you can, and press the hips to the floor. In that front version, the higher the foot, the better. But if we struggle with that or we feel knee pain, keep the foot down. Again, moving into the lower back and still into the hips and into the upper shoulders as we lean back. So as you come forward, press the hips into the floor, getting your back extension. And then back. Arms fully extended as we go into that stretch. From here, we're moving inside the groins. We're going into our frog squat. So press the knees out to the side, feet in line, and push your hips over and back. This one can be a fairly tough stretch, so move slowly and only go to the point of tension, not the pain. As you can see, keep your feet wider than your hips, so you're not sitting on your feet as you sit back. From here, we're looking at moving into another glute stretch. This one is a scaled version of the pigeon stretch. So if you find that pigeon stretch very difficult, and this is a nice one from there. Now we're moving into the hip rotations. Again, we're getting the internal and external rotation of the hips. The aim here is to have enough space between the feet so we can get the outside and inside knee down towards the floor. Try and keep your upper body as upright as you can. From here, we're looking at just getting into that kind of a downward dog position. Whereas we lift our hips up, we get a calf stretch by planting the heels to the floor and then getting a back extension then as we press the hips to the floor and the head through the shoulders. So we're getting a bit into our upper body with this also. Now isolating a little bit into the lower back, we're going to that cat-cow stretch. So we extend fully, inhale and tuck your chin towards your chest, and then exhale as you arch your back. Round as much as you can. Draw your belly button down to the floor and then up to the ceiling. Moving back in around the hips, we're just moving into that hip flexor stretch. The idea here is try not allow yourself to move too far forward, but drop the hips down towards the floor. We should feel this just in around the front of the hip, isolating that small section there. Moving on to our side now, we're going to keep the top knee bent and try and keep your knee as much onto the floor as you can. If you see it's lifting, then come back to the closed position. This is your upper thoracic piece, so this is just moving the upper back and shoulders. Stack everything on top when we're lying down, so ankles, knees, hips all in line with each other. Top knee comes up, and then rotate your top hand across till it hits the floor. Rest your chin into your shoulder so you're taking pressure off your neck. From here we're looking at some of the dynamic movements, so we can roll the knees into the chest and extend forward. So you're using a bit of momentum to create that extra range. Lean forward, legs extended, reach for your toes. To get a deeper stretch into that and up into your upper back, go legs as straight as you can. Try and get your feet towards the floor and reach out, touch your toes. Looking at some of our movement primers now, we're going to go into the deep squat position. It's a great way of getting some hip and upper back stretch. Grab underneath your toes to pull against and lift your chest up, so you're getting into the hips and back. From this side profile here, you can see, grab the toes to anchor yourself to the floor, extend your back, flatten it out, and extend the hamstrings by straightening out your legs. You can see I'm doing a lot of this all on my bare feet, trying to take away the support from runners with a raised heel. Moving in now to our pike and twist. Bring the leg across the body, support yourself at the shoulder, and we're looking at getting some rotational flexibility here. Plant your feet and rotate the hips. And finishing off then with our post and reach into the squat position. Reach back with the opposite hand and lift the hips open, try and push them to the ceiling. I'm class.